Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, everybody. First episode during Ramadan. How many of you are hungry?
Astaghfirullahalazim.
Today, on the Afiq and Amin podcast, we're going to be talking about how Ramadan has affected your business and consumer behavior. So, we know that Ramadan is a time when kita beribadah, kita baca doa banyak-banyak, kita buat tarawih, we deepen our faith in Islam, inshallah. But it's also a time for when a lot of businesses experience a huge shift in consumer behavior. I'm in personal finance. I see a lot of people. Amin is in digital marketing. He sees a lot more people. Amin, how has your business changed over the past 1 week of Ramadan?
For me, basically, it's not really change. It's basically, you can see for marketing, especially in Singapore itself, right? So it's a very deepened culture in especially in the Malay community, where they spend a lot more in the fasting month as compared to many other months, right? So knowing this, I think businesses will take the opportunity to sell things, especially online, especially on the ground. I've been to Juchat like just like a few on the weekends, right? And you can see everybody doing sales, everybody doing discounts, right? So many people there, right? Yeah, so basically, I mean, for businesses such as ID, like living, right? Yeah, those kind of businesses especially spikes during Ramadan season. Yeah, all the more because I think I'm one of the consumers also lah. Right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, you want to
Absolutely.
beautify your house, you want to prepare for the celebration, you're gonna eat, right? So all of that lah. Yeah, so
Yeah.
definitely the consumer behavior, especially F&B also, by the way. So they re-strategize things, like they sell things in bento boxes, right? Yeah, to sell more things. And you also one of the consumers also, right? We tend to buy more than we want to actually eat or we are able to eat,
Unfortunately.
especially in the month of Ramadan itself. Yeah, so all the more. In Malaysia even, right, I heard last year, right, like I don't know, some very prestigious chef, Chef Amma or something, I can't remember, right? Like the month of Ramadan, the sales during the month of Ramadan, right, it's like I think the revenue generated, right, is close to what most F&B will generate in, let's say, a year or so, or 6 months or so. The kind of leverage they have during Ramadan itself. So everybody is running towards the bazaar, buy, line up, just to have a taste. But to be honest, you think about it, are you willing to wait in line for 4 hours for nasi Arab? I won't. I certainly won't. I was like, salam.
No way, man. No way, no way. My time is way too precious for me. But so saying that, especially after COVID, ordering things online, getting things delivered is now more common than ever. So do you think that's also contributing to the whole, let's all spend online on Ramadan, buy more stuff? I know my wife did, a lot of deliveries.
Yes, exactly. I mean, I'm trying to search for curtains online also now. I shit you not really. I'm trying to search for those snap button curtains, right? My mother want those, right? So I'm like trying to search online. I even asked my team in Malaysia. I was like, anyone or anywhere get it there? IKEA, Shopee. I was like, I can't access in Malaysia Shopee, I say, right? So I'm like, online has make it much more easier to spend money. Put it that way.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I literally just got a delivery of $100 worth of meat yesterday. See, talking about food, talking about kan lapar. About food and all that, I got a shipment because we are hosting a few more people. Kan the group iftars all coming together. Especially next week, we also have our gathering. Right, you're gonna see our gathering. We'll be bringing food. So absolutely, I think during Ramadan, one of the things that people focus on is the food aspect, as well as lots of your things for your house, your doing your renovations, doing your cleanup here and there. But of course, the dynamics of how people interact has also changed quite a lot.
Yep.
Can, can. For
Mhm.
example, if those of you who know, I run night classes online. Whole of Ramadan, I already told the team,
Yeah.
no more night classes, don't bother. Don't bother. Malam
Yeah.
tak ada orang nak attend. So, and it's true. And it's true. And so we had to pivot our night classes into not automated, what do you call it? Video courses, where we let people download our classes and consume for free. And that's one way that's changed during Ramadan. Right? I don't know how well it's been working. It's only been 1 week, but inshallah, we'll see how that goes, right? Right. So how is your business change as well?
I mean, my businesses, my main demographic is still, I'm not really doing much Muslim businesses, right? Yeah, but I think for the other businesses, I think, to be honest, after the especially this year, after the COVID, right, everything I think is coming back to the norm, especially in the F&B area, especially in all the other parts of businesses, IDs, right? People are more willing to spend money. People are more willing to take a bit of chances here and there, right? So I think that's something which is something more soothing for businesses like ours, right? Where there's a lot more demand for marketing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, then with all the advent of TikTok lah, Facebook, Instagram, there's so much more platform that you have to be on. You cannot just choose to be on one. You have to, have creatives everywhere, right? The
Omnipresence,
omni-channel
is that what you
approach,
say?
yeah, omni-channel approach, and it's like a lot more work. Yeah, a lot more work. At the same time, I see a rise in marketing agencies also in Singapore. I start to see some of their ads and all of that, right? Yeah, so Singapore, even though the rise of competition is always there, right? I mean, it's still an open ball game.
Mm.
Yeah, it's not like monopolized or whatsoever, right? You still stand a chance. You have to be creative. You have to, be willing to adapt, be willing to look into yourself, look into your business to see how to create the value for a customer, for a client, right?
Mm.
Never say die. I mean, business has
And
always
I
been
think
there.
one of the best times to test your business idea is, of course, during Ramadan, right? Because there's already a lot of interest already. And so this, for me, I think it's a great time to validate an idea. Now, I want to try this. I don't know if it's going to work during other months, but at least with Ramadan, there's a lot more awareness. There's a lot more people eager, willing. I want to buy, I want to try, I want to try, I want to try, because
Yeah.
of that psychology that people have. Hey, it's Ramadan, you should, bazaar, makkah, you should buy this. People are more willing to actually spend. And so
Yes, you're
I
right.
think if you're trying to start a side hustle, trying to start a business, and this is the best time to,
Ah,
of course,
home-based businesses,
granted,
right? You're right, yes.
a couple of things that you must keep in mind. Number one, will it be seasonal? Like, oh, okay, I want to start a dinding business. I'm like, okay, but dinding will be popular during Ramadan, but otherwise,
No.
can't. Very quiet, right? Very quiet. But also it's a good time to really, really test whether it's seasonal and whether there's even demand for it.
You're right.
If
Yeah.
really your idea during Ramadan can bomb when customers are really willing to spend money
Yep.
and nobody buys your product, imagine when it's off-peak season when really nobody wants to spend any money. Do you think your idea will
It's even
survive?
worse, right? Yeah, it's even
I
worse,
really
right?
hope it's-
Yeah,
So yeah,
exactly.
yeah,
I even heard of businesses, right, in Malaysia that they just do it for Ramadan and that's it.
yeah, and they're fine with whole year.
Yeah, sometimes it's fun for them, you see. Albeit the cost of living is much lower there. The rental is somewhat much lower there, right? Yeah, in Singapore, you ever heard the news? The original Vade, the guy told us, right? He used to pay like an 8,000. Now it's like I think like 13,000 or something.
18,000 was the
He was
average.
8,000, 8,000 after that 13,000, right?
Now
In
last I heard for this year, the average was 18K. Somebody
Oh
paid
my
21K for one
God.
for one of the stalls.
For a single month, oh my God. It's not even air conditioned, please, please. It's not even air conditioned. You just put like hanging lights. And
21,000.
21,000 guys, right? 21,000 is really hefty capital. The what you call it? The anxiety not knowing if you were gonna break even, you're gonna make money, right? There's so many empty lots, right? The news have coverage on it already. Like there's so many empty lots in Gelang Serai at this
Are they?
moment.
Are
Yep.
they? I didn't see.
Yeah, they said towards the back, right? Even beside the original Vade that side, right? There's empty lots, like 3 empty lots, it says, right? Then the
Oh my.
back where there's a lot of baju and all that, right? That one is also having a lot of empty spaces. At the same time, they say the main contributor is actually the other pop-up bazaars in, let's say, Woodlands, in Jurong,
Mm.
right? Yeah. So, they are not really fixated on coming to Geylang anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it used to be that Geylang was the only place you get all this
The
stuff, but
pusat, you see, the pusat
yes,
of everything.
center of everything. No, and exactly that. And so nowadays, I live in Jurong, there's one down slightly further into Jurong West.
Yeah, 400 there, right? 400
Yes, yes,
plus
yes.
there. Yeah.
Then there's the one at Woodlands, my mother-in-law stays in Woodlands. So when we go up, we swing by as well. Come here, swing by as well. I mean, the only time I went to Geylang was last year with the kids just to drive through. Look at the lights, kids. Look, Daddy, can we go into the bazaar? Hell no. I'm not gonna queue for 4 hours.
I only been there in the morning because mom wanna go to the pasar, right? The wet market. So I went there at the same time. My mother want to buy some plain cloth to jahit, right? So went to Juchat. At the same time, went to Hague Road, right? To see some other stuff, right? End up walking down the bazaar. So it's a fun experience. I mean, we haven't had that feeling for quite some time due to the COVID restrictions, right? So there was no bazaar, no nothing. Even though I didn't actually spend much at the bazaar, I didn't actually buy much. I only bought like some stuff from the original Vade guys. My mom bought some apam balik, all the kind of things, right? It's still, as a Singaporean, as a Singaporean in the Malay community in Singapore itself, it still bring back memories of the old Geylang Serai.
I
Yeah,
think we're
the
old
new
enough to
kids won't
remember
know.
that, lah, right?
Yeah, the
We're
macam
old enough,
terowong, tunnels and all.
right? You go in left and right. You don't
Yeah,
even know where you are. You
yeah,
just walk the whole way. Which part of Geylang? We don't
yeah,
know. Just keep walking. There's no way out.
exactly.
You just go through. On
And
hindsight,
the salesmanship of
Kak,
some of them.
Kak, bang,
Yes,
come,
the
beli, beli,
lelo,
beli,
lelo,
yeah.
and people buy.
Yes,
People buy. Oh my
yes,
god,
yes, it was fantastic. Now, on
there was
hindsight,
pure
probably
grit.
a fire hazard of some kind, lah.
Yeah, it is. It is. It is. It is.
Maybe that's why there's more open lots now because to let people escape.
No. Rebounds
But
that's
yeah, I
high.
remember back then. You're right. It's like really a tunnel left and right. It was so stuffy and
Yeah.
just so hard to walk. So warm.
The you don't even know who owns the shops because it's just right off beside each other.
Yeah, they side by side, sometimes selling the same thing. You start from this part, halfway through, you meet another one selling the same thing, then another one selling the same thing. I
Yeah.
spoke to a friend who has a few stalls, by the way, and he was saying, yeah, our products are just all over the place. You go to any of the shops, any of the stalls, they're selling our
It's
product.
like a maze.
Yeah. It's like,
It stops.
okay. Interestingly, this is the guy who does curtains. So if you need curtains, I'll
Ah,
hook you.
shit.
Ah.
Yeah,
But
it is,
yeah,
it is,
out
it is.
there.
But it's fun, it's fun, it's fun. I still remember.
So many people nowadays that are doing this, but I don't know whether the culture has actually shifted,
Yes, yes.
especially with the younger generation.
Mm.
I'm talking to some of my younger friends, and they're saying, some of them are even avoiding the bazaars. Some are not
Oh,
spending as much money, simply because of what's happening in the world. No, don't even have to talk about the housing prices, but just the price or just your goods and services, your daily living.
yeah, exactly,
All the
exactly.
times I realize
Yeah.
the consumer behavior during Ramadan, there's that exuberance, the excitement. Yay, it's Ramadan! Yay, Hari is coming. But I think consumers are actually spending less overall. Overall, yes, it's still lots of money floating around. But on
Mhm.
an individual level, I think people are actually spending slightly less. What do you think?
Yeah, maybe.
Then
At
from
least a thought
previous
for it.
years? Or how should I say this? It's not that we're spending less, it's that our money doesn't go as far.
I mean, we are not readily giving out money, taking out from our wallets and all. We are not as ready, right?
I remember growing up,
Right, right.
my parents were like, "Whoa, boom, yeah, everything. We bought this, bought this, bought it, bought it,
Yes, I know.
Now it's like I'm spending about the same amount of money, but the
Mhm.
amount of stuff I'm getting is actually a lot less. So there's less
Yes,
weight.
yes, of course, of
That's
course, of
great.
course.
That's
Exactly.
great.
Like in NTUC, right? Like I still remember when I was still very, very young. I mean, I think in primary school, P1, P2, right? When I used to tag along with my mom and go to the NTUC, right? $150 can get you a full trolley.
Yeah.
Yeah. And now if for the same stuff, I barely get half.
Yeah. Absolutely. I went to the NTUC warehouse club, the one at Jukun. I went there. I ended up spending $250, and that was one cart of groceries.
Yeah, exactly. Oh yeah, I went to Sheng Siong 2 days ago with my sister. We spent like 300 plus, right? And that was a full crate also. So it has almost doubled.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
almost double. Our standard of living has increased. Even though the government says, right, the especially with HDBs, they made a claim that the square feet didn't change. There's that affordability of families has gone up. So that they want to have this, they want to have their own room, they want to have a bigger TV, right? The kind of things. At the same time,
That's
they say
normal
that the
for a
square
developed country, you see. If you are
exactly. They
in
always want
a
more.
emerging market or developing, yeah, it was common for 8 children to share one room. Right?
Yeah, I still remember those
Right?
days
Eight
where you have
children,
four
one
people
room.
staying in one room.
4 people, one room. Somebody sleeping in the hall. And so, if the
Yeah.
government is saying stuff like that, so what? You want us to go back to developing times where I have 8 children, all of us in one room? Is that what you want?
Exactly. Looking at
It's
the
natural.
trend, right? To be honest, the the personalization of what you can do to your house will be very restrictive. There's only so much you can change now,
Yeah.
right? There's only so much you can change. Maybe curtains is gonna differ, but right, you can only buy certain kinds of furniture, sofas, right? You can't
Yeah.
buy those like super big L shape. If not, you won't be able to walk. You have to like jump over it.
I don't even think it'll fit into the lift nowadays.
Exactly. Like like I've even seen right where if you open the door, your door and the opposite,
They touch
the
each other,
neighbors
right?
opposite, they were so close to each other. I'm like,
They
how do
touch each
you
other.
carry stuff? Right?
It's
How do
crazy.
you carry stuff itself?
It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. So, I mean, and if you look at it from a psychology perspective, right? As a nation develops and it becomes more modernized, more globalized, people of course want more, and which is a natural state of things. Your birth rate starts to drop. People start to earn more. They have an appreciation for the finer things in life. And so
Yep.
when we look at it this way, consumer behavior does definitely change over generations.
Yep.
And especially if you think about our parents, our grandparents' time, they lived through that nation building process, and our
Yeah,
generation
yes.
is the one where we're pretty much developed. There's
They
very
did the
little
groundwork. They did the groundwork. We are just eating the
we're
fruits of
enjoying
the
the fruits
labor.
lah. We're basically
Yeah.
enjoying the fruits of their labor. And then, because we shifted so fast, you can see within 2 to 3 generations, there's huge cultural differences as well.
Mm.
Right? The
Buying
culture
habits also. Buying habits
buying
also.
habits, absolutely. Way back when, I still remember, in fact, still quite recently, some of my parents' generation, my aunts, my uncles, they try to scrimp and save, try to find the cheapest possible option. Whereas
Yeah.
on the other end of the spectrum, I have cousins who are much younger than me. They don't mind spending a few $100 on a meal. Like, that's fine,
Yeah,
$50. Whereas my
right?
parents be like, kau gila, don't spend so much on, can use that money for other things, blah, blah, blah. And
Yeah,
so that
exactly.
cultural shift is huge. And that is definitely impacting all the business owners today, especially understanding who we're targeting. Right?
Yep,
Who we're
exactly. Yeah, in Singapore itself, right? There is the senior citizens, right? Where they're still stuck in the thinking that they have from
1950s,
before,
1960s thinking,
right?
right? And
Yeah,
then
so
you
the
have the
senior citizens,
2030s,
meaning our
2020s
parents,
thinking.
our parents, our grandparents have that mindset. They grew up in that circumstance where it was still half kampong, half HDBs in Singapore, right? Where it's still pretty new. Like 50 ringgit goes a long way back
Yeah.
then, right? To now, basically my generation and your generation itself, right? Where, we are where Singapore was still developing. I still remember during my time, and I'm meaning our time, Singapore was called the one of the what Asian tigers, right?
Yes.
Yeah. My mom
Yes.
worked in a factory last time. She did soldering for some German company and all that, right? Yeah. So I mean, we grew up in that times where we understand and we are being ingrained the kind of mindset, right? Or not to any overspend and all that, even though we still do overspend and all that. But looking from the like you said, the much younger parents, the one who are in their 20s now, right? Is really different in terms of the way they think, the way they spend, right?
Yeah.
Yes, they are more knowledgeable in the way they spend, but to be honest, in terms of like I said, the advent of credit cards, the advent of online
Easy
payments,
money.
right?
Easy money
Yeah.
now.
They I think there's a study that actually is being brought up that says, right, the younger generation is actually spending are more in debt
Yeah.
because they have no concept of tangible money. So they spend money that they don't have.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they get
And,
trapped.
and I've seen it. Again, I'm in personal finance. I've seen so much. I've seen people in their late 20s, credit card debt.
Mm.
Credit card debt. And we educate,
Yes,
we
yes,
try,
yes,
we
exactly.
show, but sometimes the debt can be huge. Like, how do you rack up $50,000 in debt at age 29?
Oh yes, I don't know if you know him, Abbas Hamza from EduDebt, right?
Yes, yes,
Yeah,
yes. He helps
he
the
told
judge
me,
consultant.
the I told him, what is the biggest you have seen? He said it's in the millions. Like I think 1 or 2 million. Or
Wow.
old Pachi or old uncle, I can't remember the story, right? But he says the person racked up over years 2 million. I was like, how are you gonna even pay that?
You can't.
You can't,
You can't.
basically.
You can't,
You just
especially if you're
declare
old.
bankruptcy.
Right? Once you
Yeah.
hit 60 plus with your amount of active income, and here's the thing: I run around with a lot of business owners and all, and I
Mm,
hear stories of business owners, getting into debt because of bad deals or whatever, and then they pull themselves
mm,
out of it. And those are the success stories. What about the consumers? Because business owners, yeah, they have something called leverage. They do their
mm.
best, run a business. They're not self-employed. They have systems and processes in place to
Yep,
earn
yep.
an amount of money. But for
More control, yeah.
exactly. And for a consumer, an employee type, racking up a few $100,000 in debt and expecting to be able to work their day job and use that money to pay off, that's insane. Like I've seen
Yeah.
way too many cases of people really in debt and just doing their 9 to 5 slog, like
Mm.
60-70% of their money just goes to paying off their debts.
Yep, exactly,
And
exactly.
it's sad. And it's
Yeah,
really sad.
it's a very sad predicament. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
it's still consumer behavior. It still goes back to our initial topic today about consumer behavior. So if any of you out there who are in businesses, tell us, how have you seen consumer behavior change in whatever you're doing? Whether you're an employee, whether you're a business owner, whether you're self-employed, whatever you're doing, how have you seen consumer behavior change? Because it also definitely depends on who you're targeting, who your ideal clients are. Right. For my part, I work with people about my age, my demographic. We have married, we have kids, and their spending habits are roughly about the same as mine.
Mm.
But of course, when I do get, older people coming in and I show them my rates, they're like, hey, mahal, say, yeah, I am actually considered cheap. You go to another firm, you go to a law firm or something, they put another zero behind my rates. And like, okay, okay, oh. And so that consumer behavior, the consumer psychology very much depends on
Yes,
who we're
yes,
targeting. Are we
yes.
targeting Gen Zs?
Yeah.
Are we targeting millennials? Are we targeting, the boomers?
Yes, you're
Who
right. Exactly. You're right. You're here on spot. Yeah.
Right? You have to
Yeah.
understand their mindset, understand their habits, understand what they do, and then,
Understand
craft
what
our
matters to them. Yeah.
correct. Absolutely. Absolutely. And so I mean, at the end of the day, we all have to understand that consumers are our lifeblood. Both business owners, self-employed, people are the ones who we should be thanking out there. So I thank everybody out there for spending your money, running the economy, yes, so that we all can have taxes,
Contributing to the
have good
nation's
stuff,
economy, local
contribute to
economy.
nation building. Yes, yes, alhamdulillah. But I always advocate, of course, moderation. Moderation.
Yeah.
Lagi-lagi during Ramadan.
Control, as in self-control,
Yeah,
right?
kan?
And
It's
know
so
your
easy.
finances and know your numbers, especially. Yeah, I think that's the one of the biggest things that people need to know, especially in business, especially in your own personal finance, right? You have to know your numbers. Be honest with the numbers, please.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. You have to absolutely know your numbers and be willing to face it, both from business owners as well as what do you call that? Personal employees. Some folks have this idea that, oh, tak apa, aku tak nak tengok. It doesn't exist.
Yeah, yeah. Like as if it's gonna just like just a fizzle away.
No, not gonna look at. No, not doesn't
It
exist.
doesn't exist. It doesn't exist.
Don't matter. I'm just wondering. Do you know whether the bazaars at during the Ramadan bazaar, do they actually accept credit cards and all?
Oh no. The recent one I saw along the roads have cash and at best pay now via QR code.
Ah.
That's it. I mean, if you go to the buildings like Juchak Complex or Jokatong Complex, I mean, certain stores do have credit card, right?
Shops lah,
But for
physical malls lah,
bazaars, no.
don't have,
But to
right?
be honest, you're right. It gives me the impression that with the prices that they're asking, where a box, I still remember, I don't know from which restaurant when back then, I think Beef Bros or what, they first started out. I bought like something like their lobster or something, right? Yeah, just out of curiosity. And it cost like what? I think 39 bucks or 49 bucks. I can't remember. But you imagine, right? A bazaar, a stall, $39, $49. How much cash might you even carry? You cannot even carry $50 note and expect to come up with a dozen of things.
No more. No
No
more.
more. Good was the days. A drink, I think, costs typically $7, $8 now. Thai tea costs you anywhere from $3.50 to $4.50.
Yeah,
Thai tea, just a drink alone, right?
it's crazy.
Yeah.
So then the question is, chicken and egg, which one came first? The high prices or the cost of rental?
I would say it's the world supply of interest rate.
Habis. Now ni kita dah berbual pasal market updates and economic
Market update
movements.
today.
Tamu. Let's keep our podcast light and fun. Easy kalau tak nanti orang alah susah nak berbual pasal this. So but folks, if you need help on the economic outlook and what's happening with the markets and how to invest your money, follow me on Modern Muslim Finance. And if you do need help with digital marketing and you need help with branding and ideas, talk to my man here, Amin. Now we've come to the end of the podcast. Folks, let us know in the comments below what you like, what you learned today, what are some of the things that you've noticed around the world or in your own neighborhood, in Singapore, in other countries, if you're watching from anywhere else. Let us know how you've noticed things change, especially seasonal during Ramadan, during regular times, how do people spend or how do you spend? Let us know how you spend your money, especially during Ramadan, which, differs from other months of the year. Okay, looking forward to seeing you all. We'll see you at the next one. This is Afiq from Modern Muslim Finance, and this is my good buddy. Are we pointing in the right direction? You gotta say bye. Say bye, Amin.
Bye.
Bye. And that's Amin from CMO Media Labs. We'll see you at the next podcast. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Selamat berpuasa, and we will see you all next week, inshallah. Bye.